The Three Charms and the Mountain Witch. Long ago, in a temple in the mountains, a priest and a young novice lived together. The novice loved mischief and often did not practice seriously. He took naps and chased rabbits, which troubled the priest. One autumn day, delicious chestnuts grew on a tree in the mountains. When the novice saw them, he wanted to eat them very much. He asked the priest, "May I go to the mountains to gather chestnuts?" The priest said, "People say a mountain witch lives in that mountain. You might be eaten, so you must not go," he warned. But the novice would not listen and said, "That story is just made up." The priest looked troubled, but he thought it might be good for the novice to have a little scare. Then the priest gave the novice 3 charms. "If you meet the mountain witch, use these charms," he said. The novice carefully took the 3 charms and quickly went to the mountain. When he arrived, just as he had hoped, many chestnuts had fallen to the ground. The novice became absorbed in gathering chestnuts. He was having so much fun that he completely forgot the time. Before he knew it, the sun had set and everything around him was dark. The novice suddenly felt lonely and afraid. What if the mountain witch really appears? He thought. Just then, a voice behind him called, "Little boy." When the novice turned around, a kind-looking old woman was standing there. The old woman asked, "Did you come here to gather chestnuts?" Then she said, "Come to my house, and I will boil some chestnuts for you." The novice was hungry, so he gladly followed her. The old woman's house was a small house deep in the mountains. She boiled the chestnuts and gave him plenty to eat. The novice became full and sleepy. Before long, he fell asleep without noticing. When he woke up in the middle of the night, the old woman was gone. From the next room, he heard an eerie sound, like something being sharpened. When the novice quietly peeked in, a terrifying mountain witch was there. She was sharpening a knife and getting ready to eat him. The novice was so startled that he cried out, "Ah!" The mountain witch glared at him and said, "So you saw me?" "Yes, I am the mountain witch. Now I am going to eat you," she said. The novice hurriedly begged, "Before that, please let me go to the toilet." The mountain witch tied him with a rope so he could not escape. Then she put him in the toilet and stood guard outside. Again and again, she called, "Are you done yet?" The novice was in trouble, but then he remembered the charms from the priest. He stuck the first charm on the toilet wall. "Dear charm, please answer for me," he whispered. The charm answered in the novice's voice, "Please wait a little longer." While the witch was fooled, the novice quietly escaped through the toilet window. He ran with all his might toward the temple. For a while, the mountain witch was tricked by the charm's answers. But because she heard the same answer again and again, she became suspicious. When she looked inside the toilet, the novice was already gone. Furious, the mountain witch shouted, "You tricked me, and chased after him. The novice looked back and saw that the witch was already close behind him. He took out the second charm and prayed, "Please make a great river appear." At once, a wide river appeared behind him. The mountain witch was swept by the current and could not chase him for a while. The novice felt relieved, but the witch used her magic to drink up all the river water. Then she came after him again with terrible speed. The novice took out the third charm and prayed, "Please make a sea of fire appear." Suddenly, a roaring sea of fire rose behind him. The mountain witch was surrounded by flames, but she spat out the river water she had drunk earlier. The fire went out, and the witch chased the novice again. The novice thought, "This is the end," but he kept running until he reached the temple. The novice arrived at the temple just a little before the mountain witch and begged the priest for help. The priest asked, after meeting the mountain witch, "Have you learned your lesson?" The novice cried and apologized, saying, "I will never be mischievous again." The priest hid the novice inside a large jar. Then the mountain witch kicked open the temple door and came in. She shouted for the priest to hand over the novice, but the priest pretended not to know anything. Then the priest suggested to the mountain witch, "Let us have a shape-shifting contest." The witch made herself as tall as the ceiling, and then as huge as a mountain. Finally, when the priest asked, "Can you become as small as a bean?" the witch became tiny. The priest put the tiny witch into a rice cake and swallowed it in one bite, and the mountain witch never appeared in the mountains again.